Good, everyone. This is John from 3D Create Tutorials, and I thought I'd show you a quick study how to create a helmet shape. So I thought this would be a lot of fun. I'm not going to do the whole helmet. I'm just going to show the basics of the form, so it helps people figure out how to do this stuff. All right, so here we go. So I'm actually here on the website, and I'm actually looking at this cool-looking helmet by Aurora, Unit 1, and it's the Urban Smart Helmet. This is where I went for the website. I'm also going to put a link on the actual YouTube video. So if you want to look at the description below, you can go to the link. So anyway, the image here is the side. Now it only has two images, which I could use really, the side and the back. So I'm just going to base this mostly just on these two images. And again, I'm just going to show you quickly how to create the form. That's all I'm caring about right now, is to show somebody how to use this program to create the form. So here we go. So I've downloaded these images, and the next thing is I'm going to bring them into the program. Okay, so I've actually imported this image, and I went to the side view, and this is the side view image, and I'm also brought in the back image, which is on the side. Now, one thing that I recommend is trying to align the top with the top, or the side with the side, whichever. So anyway, I'm going to move this up just a little bit just to kind of get this lined up. So I want these things to kind of like connect basically in a sense. So your highest point's there. That's your highest point. So it's pretty much right where you need it. So another way to do this is just go into the front view here and just kind of bring a line through. This will help you drive the exact spacing of this. So G, if I bring this to the edge here, and then if I look around, you'll see that it pretty much lines up with the top of this. And that's a good way to kind of line it up. Now again, these are the best you can do with the images you got, because the perspective might be a little different on how they actually took the image. But this gives us at least something to go by to create a cool looking helmet. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and lock these in place. I'm just going to leave this one on here. I'm also going to lock it and lock this one. And the idea here is to now create this shape. So here we go. Now just real quick before I create this, I got a complete tutorial on creating a helmet, and I'll show you exactly what I mean by that. So I'm super excited to bring you this tutorial in creating this bicycle helmet in Plasticity. This course is for beginners on up, and you should have some basic understanding of the tooling. If not, you can download my free tutorial creating this P and Y thumb drive on Gumroad. The bicycle helmet course will show you how to create complex shapes and give you a better understanding on how to create CAD models with over 7 hours of modeling. This first week of being out will be half off, so come get it before the end of 1/31. So don't miss out on the special deal. Okay, let's get back to the video. Okay, so let's get going. So we're on the side, the actual side view, which is what we want. So we got to create this form. So we want to go to spline curve, and I'm going to start from this edge here, and I want to kind of just bring something out here. I'm also going to use the tab key to help me. Now, information is down below what I'm doing, so go ahead and just follow along. So we're going to go from this edge here and work your way around. And you don't want to get too many points here. You really want to reduce the amount of points. And that helps you drive a much cleaner model. So I'm going to go here, here. Again, I'm going to have to come back and readjust all these. But again, I just want to get a good baseline here. So there we go. So let's go back to the points. And we're going to go in here and start pulling these out. So let's go and just pull it with the mouse. And we're going to line these right up on the edge, just like that. This one here has to be a little bit higher. This one could be a little bit closer this way. And you just kind of got to just place these where you think they have to be, so it's a nice smooth curvature. So that's pretty much right where it needs to be. And this one here, I'm going to bring this one back in and this one back out. This has a kind of a really kind of a tight angle there. All right, so we could probably just go a little bit more here. And I think this one looks really good. A good way to make sure that you're in line with your helmet is to make sure that by hiding this stuff after the fact. Okay, so kind of got this lined up now, and I think it's a really good shape. bring this in a little bit more, this out a little bit more. And I can just do that, just like that. Okay, cool. So let's go and hide the actual helmet itself, the image. And let's look at the line here. It's really very smooth. Doesn't have a lot of issues to it. It's just very nice, smoothly rounded. And that's kind of what you want. So just make sure that you always have a nice smooth line curvature. All right, so let's go back. All right, so we got the baseline of this now. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to also bring a line that's going to come out from here to there. Now keep in mind, this is your flat space, right? So this is a little bit above. So we want to make sure that this line is on top of that. So I'm going to hit the G key on this line. Just bring this up a little bit right above this. I don't want it to be under, just above it. So something like this, real close, hit OK. This will help us drive the next line. So we need to start off with another spline curve line. And we're going to go back to where it kind of meets. And that's right about here. We can just let go there and then pull this out. And we're going to readjust this in a minute, but if it's touching the line, that's great. Okay, so let's go to the side view now. And we can unhide this one. All right, so this will help us drive the next line. So let's go ahead and again hit the tab key. And I'm going to start bringing this line out. And this is a little bit off because there's a cut there, right? And again, try not to put too many lines. Let's move out as we need to. And I'm going to keep going with this all the way up to about there. We just need to do one side. So go ahead and select the points. And again, let's readjust these things so it looks right. Just trying to make sure that this is lined up really well. Okay, so we can then hide this one for now, or hide this one. Just unhide this for a second. I want to get back to this side here. All I want to do is make sure that this is lining up really well. So let's select the line. And it looks a little bit, not very straight there. So let's fix that. So I'm going to go back here. I want to make sure I selected the line first so I can see it. Do that. I don't want this one. I want to make sure this is the line right there. And this one can go down a little bit. And just trying to get yourself in a better position here. Let's go back to the line. And again, points. And then we can actually manipulate this a little bit more. Okay, so kind of adjusted the line a little bit more, and it's looking really good now. And now we're going to do the next step. Okay, so now I've got the line straight, and it's actually at the line. We can start cutting this out now. All right, so I've got the lines lined up here, and we definitely have this line is a little bit higher than this line. So we kind of want to bring this down. So I'm going to go to the side here and just kind of hit the G key. And this will bring this down. We're going to actually go a little bit farther down here so I can see the line. And just kind of get it down to like right below this line here. Kind of get right below it, right there. Okay, cool. Hit the OK. Now the other thing that we need to do is we need to connect. We can actually hide this straight line. So let's hide that with the H. And now we could actually take this line, select this point here, and then hit the Control key so we can actually get this lined up. One thing I want to do is hide the actual image. I'll move this over to the side just a little bit. So again, I'm going to use the Control key and just move this right to the line. Here we go, just like that. Now we can go back to the side view here. I want to make sure this is straight. So again, we can use the Control key to move this over a little bit and just kind of straighten this up so it's actually straight. Right about there is perfect. Okay, now I can go a little closer. Anyway, we don't need to worry about that at the moment. So what we got to do first is select this line here And I'm actually going to use the cutter here. So I'm going to use the F to go straight to the selection here. I'm going to use the cut curve. If you don't have this, do search for cut curve. Hit this and then select this. And this will cut this in half. There we go. So now when you look at this, it actually has two separate lines here. And one thing you got to keep in mind is that if it's only one point on the ends, you're good. So keep that. If it has a bunch of points, then you definitely need to redo this. So that's one thing, okay? So that's the first step. Now we got this separated. We could select each of these lines, and we can actually just extrude these out. So we're going to hit the E key, and I'm going to go to the side here, just like this. I'm going to hit the F key, kind of so I can make sure this lines up straight, just like that, and let go. All right, cool. Now, I'm going to show you the example of why we do this. So now if we don't do that, and we take these three lines that are here, go to the top here, and move this over. Let's do a Shift D, and we'll move this down. And I'm going to show you an example of why we do this. Okay, so now that we have this, first I'm going to hide this with the H key, and now we got these all lined up. Now, if I just go from here to here to here and loft with the L key, we get not a really good shape. Okay, this is kind of why we use the extensions on when we do anything in CAD, because it helps drive a better look. So let me just do this again, all three of these, and now again hit L, and you'll see that it actually helps make this follow this curve here a lot better than this one does. This doesn't help control the edges basically, so it pulls these stay out and help come back in. So it's a much better curve situation. Now, if you hit G2, it won't work. You really need just G1, just like that. Okay, cool. So hit OK. So that's the first step. So we can get rid of this one, of course. We don't need this. This is not going to work for us. So we can delete this. And we can delete this. This is why we do those extensions like that. Okay, so let's go and select these here and delete them with the Shift X, and also delete this. We don't need these anymore. Okay, so another thing I'll do is just hide this for now. These are lines that we might need in the future if we have to go backwards. And a couple things you want to keep in mind. So we had that line right earlier. This line needs to be above this. If it's not, then you might have a pinch on top when you form these things. So always keep that in mind when you're doing these things. All right, so we can go ahead and now duplicate this to the other side. We can turn this over here, do a mirror, do the opposite side, and just merge. This way we got a nice, basically sheet that's all the way around. And that's the first step. Okay, so the second step is now to go to the side. And now we got this fine. It looks really nice. I don't really have an issue with anything here. Everything looks very smooth. That's what we want. We can actually just get rid of this for now. We could actually hide it. All right, so go back to side view. And I'm going to bring this back in, this view here. And one thing I'm going to do is basically take this and hit the M key so we can see with the opacity, bring it all the way down. And we can start seeing the lines. So now we want to have a nice cut. I want this to be cut pretty much down here. I don't want it to be cut here because this is something we need to form later. But for this exercise, I'm just going to show you these cuts and kind of give you the form. I'm not going to do the whole helmet because I already got a class on that. So we're going to go ahead and use the, again, spline curve. And we're going to start. And I'm going to pretty much line this up with this here. So let's go ahead and bring this out. Again, we're going to use the tab key just to kind of help us drive this a little bit better. Now, always when you have a curve, you almost need like 3 points in most cases to get this to rotate properly. And the longer the curve, the farther out the curves or the points will be. So let's keep that in mind while we're doing this. And again, I want to come back and kind of readjust this, just like that. All right, so let's hit the points and let's go ahead and readjust. So I'm going to bring this one back out. this back out. That looks good. A little bit here. And we can bring this in right here. I think we're going to stick with this line right here. Same thing here, right there. A little bit down. And again, I think this looks really nice. Just like that. I want to get that to that edge here. Okay. So that's the first step. So now that we've done that, we can actually select this, use the cutter, and then cut it just like that. Real simple, right? So take this piece now and delete it with the delete key. And now we have that gone. So if you look at this, it gives us a nice shape, just like what we need. All right, so let's go ahead and do a few more cuts. I'm going to cut out some of these other little sections here. Again, like I said, I'm not doing the whole helmet. I just kind of show you how this works. So again, let's use this spline curve. We're going to come over here and let's go ahead and just start using this. I don't want to go to the upper part because that would be something I have to work out later. Again, hit the tab key. Zoom in a little bit. Again, 3 sections here, maybe 4 sometimes. Just bring this all the way down. We're going to get closer to here, 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 and then we're going to bring this out like this. That's like that. Okay, let's go back, hit the points, and adjust this line. This is a little bit cut there, but I'm okay with just trying to get that edge there. And I'm going to bring this one out, this one out. This is kind of close. I'm almost thinking that just delete that point. We don't really need that one. I'm just going to bring this closer. Again, the less points you have, the less issues you're going to have, but you got to have some type of, at least some support lines. This again is a little bit, I think, over too many points here. Yeah, anyway, we'll go with that. That's fine. We'll bring this back a little bit just to kind of give it a little bit more space. Okay. So this is looking really good. And this would be the next step. So again, we're going to take the shape here and we're going to use the cutter again and just select this line here and say, okay. Again, we can just delete this for good. And then the next thing is we're going to cut this little section here. Okay, almost there. Again, we're going to start from over here. Just kind of use the tab key, get this a little closer. Sometimes you got to zoom in and just keep bringing this around. Again, I'm going to try to get more of a curve here. Something like this, like this. And again, we're going to have to go back. See, this is a much longer curve here. So it's kind of like it spreads out the actual distance of these points. Okay, right here. Sometimes you got to zoom in to get the right point and then bring it out just like that. Okay, let's go ahead and again support this. So bring this out a little bit. This one. And just trying to get this as nice as we can. Here, here, here. Yeah, I think it's really looking nice. And I think here we'll go down a little bit more. You want to get that edge. And you want the point to be kind of close to where the things come together. And I think right about there. Okay, cool. So that's it for that one. Again, select it, hit the cutter, select it, hit OK, and delete it. Cool. So we got the main form, and now we can actually hide this. As you see that this is really nice. What we can do to make it even nicer is to go in and kind of add some thickness to this. So we can actually select each side of here, and we could pull this out. We don't want to do that. We actually want to use the thicken. So use the thicken. Just pull this out. We're going to make this more of a thicker piece. Not too thick. Again, the plastic is not that much. But it is a little bit more Let's go back a little bit. Go a little bit more. Again, I just want to get it a little bit thicker. Can't go too far with it. I think we can go with 0.4. So let's do that. Hit OK. All right, we'll stick with this for now. This is the basic form. Now, keep in mind, whenever you do this, you're just always going to have an extra sheet here. You can just delete this. We don't need that sheet. Now we have a solid. So this is your main shape. Now, what I suggest that you do first is I'll kind of get an idea what this looks like. Yeah, it looks really nice. It has a nice form. As you see here, it really does look nice. It's very smooth. And we could also do this form here. It just gives you a good understanding of what your form's going to look like. Yeah, it just looks perfect. And to go to the next step, we would cut this in half basically, and then we can make it a little thicker. Right now we're having two sides fighting against each other basically. And to solve that, you're just going to put a line down the middle here. And then we can come back here again, select it, cut it, hit OK, delete one side. And once you do that, you can go now back in here and kind of just make this much thicker, right? And we need that to actually be able to work those special cuts that are there. I'm not going to show that. Again, go to my tutorial if you want to learn, and that will be shown there. All right, so here's the example of the actual helmet piece with some of the actual bevels done on it to kind of emulate the existing, and it came out really nice. And again, this is similar to what we're going to be doing in the class. So thanks for joining me. Please subscribe.